Some of the sentiments from the desk. Vosharden.
I really disagree with that. Huh? Hello, Renekton? Sejuani deals a decent amount of damage too, and Lissandra is no slouch in team fights. I don't really see where the damage issue is. No. I think they're fine in the damage department.
I think it's hard to deliver the Renekton damage in the after the mid game. Obviously, in the early game and the mid game, it's fine.
I know it's cool right now to only look at drafts and say, oh, is it scaling in the late game? Can a team fight in the late game? Oh, no. Oh, it's not a good draft. But I actually really like the proactivity in SBTC's draft. I love Renekton-Sejuani combo because, remember, Sejuani gives her stacks to Renekton. And remember, Renekton has a very easy way to stun the target. So you can double stun so easily. It's an insane lockdown on the double stun and even triple stun if you have Sejuani ultimate on top of that. That's a Yuumi isolated, but they don't have the damage to chase her down in time.
The boomerang blade had already been used.
Yeah, so they have really good dive. They have very tanky frontline. Okay, there's a Trundle. Fair. So Sejuani is not going to be as tanky, but still a lot of playmaking, a lot of engage. Plus Sivir ult, plus Nautilus, even though I hate Nautilus. In this composition, I kind of see what they're trying to do. They have so many angles, so many flanks they can plan for, and the Sivir to just prop them all up. I actually really like this proactive draft. Now, you do have to do something with it. It's not a draft that's going to win on its own, right? This is almost always kind of the base of the argument for those late game drafts, because if you mess up this early game draft, then it's going to fall apart. But there's so much you can play for, and this is exactly what SGB would do against Team Secret. So I feel like the SBTC is trying to emulate what SGB found against this same opponent and try to replicate a little bit of the success.
And I think one thing I'd like to get your opinion on is that oftentimes in a series, we see that what happens in game 2 sets the tone for the rest of the series. It doesn't really matter who wins. It's when that in-series meta really begins to form, it's game 2 and onwards. So let's say SE comes out on top. Obviously, the game's dead even at the moment. I'm not saying that. But let's say they come out on top with this draft. How do you think that changes the permutations of this series?
It's going to make a lot of things much more interesting in the next draft. So I'm really hoping we're going to see that, because Aatrox is then a question mark again. It seems like Aatrox just slam Aatrox into your draft and you're fine right now in the VCS. If Aatrox loses here, maybe to a few top lane ganks, as set up right now, triple movement from SBTC. A little bit too much push from Emperor. I would have liked him to try to freeze the lane a little bit more, because Aatrox naturally pushes. He needs to use his Qs to trade and will hit the minions, so it should be easy to put him into a dangerous position. A little bit disappointing.
Yeah, but they want to let Emperor roam. They're trying to force Penguin out of the game.
Yeah.
Moving in, there's a knock-up, the slice, the dice. They can't land the Ruthless Predator, though.
Oh, that's
Penguin with a lovely smite.
Oh, that's so bad for DNK. Yeah, he lost a lot of tempo here. But honestly, both junglers are a little bit behind now, because both of them just facing off against each other in the jungle, which is fine for those two champions. They're not the Lilias, the Fiddlesticks, the Karthuses of the game that need every single CS optimized to really get full potential. Both of these champions function on less income too, so it's fine. I'm still a little bit disappointed, because Renekton Sejuani in the early game against Aatrox, to me, just screams early top ganks, because it's so easy to stack the stuns. And sure, you can do it level 6, but yeah, Emperor could just manage the wave a little bit differently, to have Hero in a constant state of overextension into Lissandra roams, into Sejuani, instead of whatever he's doing right now here, because he's even in CS, he's not even getting anything from this lane state. So yeah, Emperor might have to think about this again. There's still some time, but first opportunity missed in these 5 minutes of the game.
And I just want to point something out that really plays into something you were talking about earlier. The whole, this is a draft, you have to do something from SE. And one thing that really shows it is that Celebrity didn't opt into the cull. This Zeri Sivir, we always just see them both start cull, they just chill out, they don't really do anything in the early game. He didn't. He started with a longsword, first back, he gets a Noon Quiver. That is screaming to me that SE wants that dragon.
Yeah, Noon Quiver just gives perma push, right? Because you get extra damage on the minions. You already have the W bounce, so that should be a very easy way for the bot lane to just push out constantly, give prior over the bot side. I still think the draft is mostly aimed towards top side, but SBTC kind of failing so far to make their presence known. Enper wants to hit level 6, and then you can flash W on top of Hero and probably get the easy kill if Sejuani's there. So let's look at the level. There it is, level 6, and Hero is aware. This is good from Hero. Stepping back as soon as he sees the threat of level 6 from Emperor. Also warded this entrance, so very nice, calm play from Hero, playing it safe against this threatening composition on the top side.
Dia1 also moved up the river, so knew that there was potential for a collapse as Artifact locked in that Lissandra W, gets charmed, but immediately cleanses and ults away. Lands his own charm onto Dia1. Of course, I meant altered, not charmed. Gets locked up. But in the end, it's just a few summoner spells being traded back and forth.
There's a big trade in bot lane, but they can't really chase into it because no level 6. So we do trade Ult Fold, and I think that favors Dia1, because if you look at the cooldown right now for the two mid laners, it looks like there will be a little bit of an offset in cooldown between Dia1 and Artifact. And from last game, from Dia1's performance, contrarily, we know Ahri without ultimate is barely even a champion. So there's now a very tiny window, maybe something like 40 seconds, for SBTC to really make this ultimate difference count. We have Dia1 on Spellbook 2. He might change to something like a teleport into top lane to make it even more surprising. But I think they should really try to make use of this ultimate advantage now for the side of Dia1. It's halfway off cooldown, so about 1 more minute till we really have to judge if they can find a play.
Another reset coming in here for Celebrity. I was kind of expecting them to try and do something with Dragon, but I don't think they knew where Penguin was, so maybe it was a little bit too risky for them. Has now a pickaxe, and with 8 minutes just about coming up, Dragon becomes deprioritized, and I think these teams are going to look towards a Herald.
We already see a lot of pings on the Herald, some vision pointed out from the side of SBTC too. Let's take a quick look at the levels. No, Palette is not level 6, Zhu Hao is not level 6 either, and he's going bot, so it seems like Team Secret is happy to give up this first Herald on the top side. They are a little bit late to the Dragon, so SBTC might actually make a push towards Dragon as well to contest that objective.
I think they absolutely do. The new Dragons take a long time to kill. I think if they want the Dragon, they have to fight for it.
Yeah, and this is exactly what you just talked about a minute earlier. Celebrity foregoing the early or the early cull to go towards Noon Quiver as quickly as possible to have constant bot push, and this actually now yielded a tempo reset with the already advantageous mid and jungle setup, as Penguin is here for some reason.
He's flashing over the wall, really aggressive. Eddie coming in with the parkour will get first blood out of nowhere.
That's a really nice play from Penguin, completely subverting expectations out of nowhere, just in the enemy jungle, chasing down Palette, and of course, that terrain, that extra terrain makes it really hard to spider not away. Just nowhere to navigate for Palette. They get the kill onto Eddie, of all people as well, who has already started with the cull, as you pointed out, so he's accelerated beyond belief, and this also gives priority on the Dragon. We have both ults in the mid lane available too, so they didn't make any use of that ultimate cooldown difference. Yeah, and
it's tragedy as well. The real tragedy there is Celebrity was taking the Krug camps. Palette flashes, and he immediately turns, looking for a Spidernaut, but there's a Krugling in front of him.
Yep. Just too many things right next to him. There's nowhere for him to go. He might... In hindsight, he probably should have flashed the other way, tried to get to his mid lane, and maybe Spidernaut towards top side. Towards the on. Interestingly enough, DNK and SBTC still get the first Dragon. So I would like to see a replay of what actually happened in terms of map positioning with Secret. They had such a huge advantage in bot lane, pushed Celebrity away from the tower even. Could have just ran to the Dragon and got that objective. Instead, now giving up both of the early objectives to SBTC. And this is very reminiscent to Game 2 of SBTC against GAM, which SBTC played very slowly, got all the early objectives in, and won against GAM rather comfortably.
Yeah, I think what happened there, based on what I saw just before we went to the replay, unfortunately it was a fairly poorly timed replay. Sejuani was coming off the reset, Trundle didn't have ult, and Sejuani was a reset ahead. So I think they just couldn't take the fight. They would have just kind of been out-walleted, out-statted, which evidently led them to back off. But obviously we don't know for sure. As back into game we go. This is a very minor point, but Dia1 goes Tenacity Boots first.
Yeah, against the Charm, against Trundle Pillar, I guess. So this dive should be really easy. You have Ignite, you have Ultimate from Dia1. This is, you have so much lockdown. It should be very easy to get this one.
It should be, but Hero's making it as hard as he can. Enper takes another tower shot, but Dia1 with the E will go over and throw a bit of ice at him to finish them off. Penguin
might have the chase, honestly. Dia1 is
an artifact coming in, ults over the wall, joins the play, gets stunned up for a moment, doesn't quite land the Orb of Deception, but will land the Charm to get himself a kill.
It just took too long for SBTC to execute this dive cleanly, and very good counter roam, but now this opens up the bot lane, and DNK is already in place. They do have the Herald, so this could be first tower in... So a little bit of a play on both sides of the meta. SBTC coming out ahead in the grand scheme of things. Okay, it's not going to be the full tower, but you can reinvest some resources to get it later on. It's still 240 gold into Celebrity's pocket, offsetting the early kill from Eddie, so he should still be in a good spot here.
He absolutely is, as he has already completed that Kraken Slayer. Eddie very close to the Immortal Shield bow, but of course not quite there. I'd also argue that Kraken Slayer is a bigger one-item spike than Immortal Shield bow is. But yeah, let's have a look at this one, because honestly, it's Hero buying time that sets up the rest of the play.
Yeah, not entirely sure. I think Dia1 should have probably tried to ult him on the other side of the tower, so it would have been easier for Enper to get in range. So it just took Enper such a long time, basically the whole duration of Dia1's ultimate, to get to his target, and that was not supposed to be the case. They were supposed to just burst him down instantly with Ignite, shutting down any kind of healing coming from Hero. They still get the kill, it's still a 1-for-1, so it's alright, and they actually drew the pressure away from bot lane, so it is a winning play. Just a little bit of misexecution, but SBTC sitting pretty in this game, honestly. One Dragon and an accelerated ADC, so they are in a decent spot. They still need to... they can't relent in this game with their composition.
What? Aggression coming out from Penguin as they use that Yuumi ult. Doesn't go very well, though. An artifact is here. Lands the charm to start it off on the priority target of DNK out of the two. Eddie moving forward. Should be a free kill for the Zeri. Artifact will actually be the one to pick it up. Prowling projectile doesn't find Celebrity, but Paulette can't quite land the anchor. Celebrity goes down. Artifact under the tower. Goes gold. Can he find that last bit of damage as they come out? No. And gets stunned up under the tower. But he lived because of the Yuumi. It's Zhuhao being the absolute MVP of this play.
Yuumi and Redbuff give him that tiny bit of health to actually survive that tower shot. He had no right.
I need a replay with his health bar. That
he had no right to live. That is insane, and that's such a good little punish from Team Secret. SBTC once again overchase, a little bit of oversight on how many people could come there, and Celebrity. He got rid of these mistakes in game 1, but he did this a lot against the Gum series, so it's not too surprising to see him overstepping in his own lane.
Very strange from Penguin.
Yeah, the Penguin engage is just mistimed. The sync is a little bit out of sync with Artifact's roam. It's still, if you look at the health bar, it's still a winning play, so you sacrifice this life just to enable this play, and the second Paulette misses the hook, the play is doomed. They needed to burst Eddie, but with the hook missing, he's completely out of the picture. Sivir dies, and now look at Artifact. He has red buff and Yuumi heal. Oh, and the health potion as well. That was really on a knife's edge. If I've ever seen something be on a knife's edge, that was definitely it.
Knife, that was, what's thinner than a knife? Bit of cheese wire. DNK dashing over the wall, goes towards Eddie. Paulette is there as backup, so they will just back off. And I want to point something out that, yes, Penguin's engage was a little bit scuffed, but I do think it's interesting because that was a Trundle with a Yuumi on top of them. You can't spell shield anything those champions do as Sivir. in terms of their CC. You can't spell shield the pillar, and you can spell shield one tick of Final Chapter, which doesn't help. But
big play
we have to come back into it as Hero has come up from the mid lane. Artifact is here showing us how to play Ahri, as he will pick himself up another one. And your way, this is just a tale of two mid laners.
Yep, night and day performance, absolutely. We saw the Ahri last game, it was horrific, it did nothing, it just inted away, kill after kill after kill, got caught, got solo killed by the enemy jungler, and this Ahri is everything but that. She's so strong, being in the side lane quicker than the Lissandra is already a feat for Ahri to have accomplished, and she's just in every single play, and yeah, the Artifact does not want to miss another Worlds. He does not want to be eliminated. He does not want to be called a finals absentee once more. He has another shot, and we don't know. They haven't played GUM. After looking at these series and how GUM struggled with SBTC, maybe it's just SGB and Team Secret who are the two best teams.
Your way, that's a bold call. That is a bold statement, my friend. But who knows? It could be, as it definitely looks like that side of the bracket may have been the stronger side. But honestly, this man on your screen, as we said, he's the MVP. He won the production MVP and the community MVP, and it wasn't close on either front.
Yeah, and in points as well, which is the least hindsight possible, because when you vote at the end of the split, yeah, that is always a little bit of a hindsight bias coming in, and they're actually on a downturn, but he still won, so yeah, really nothing is taking away anything from Artifact. Maybe apart from his quarterfinal performance, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't MVP worthy, I'd say. So today he needed to step up, and step up he did in those two games. But here's an engagement.
Penguin caught out. They throw everything and the kitchen sink, and he just walks on away. Didn't even flash.
Just trudging away on the trundle. He gets free stats all the time, and now he can just heal for free at those wolves. So, oh, this is a TP. They actually want to defend this tower. It's, yeah, high enough HP to actually do that. So not much coming out of this Herald spawn. It's still 300 gold, local gold, for taking the Herald, right? So it's still a little bit of a win, but you really want this tower for the second Herald. Now, Penguin, there's an ultimate advantage for the side of Team Secret. They don't really want to chase too much, though.
Yeah, I think that's a very high risk, very low reward. As Hero tried to steal away a red buff, can't quite do it, so Celebrity will get that one to get himself a little bit more damage, a little bit more healing. And looking at Celebrity, he's been having a fairly good series so far. How do you stack him up in this game? Of course, it's been quiet, 0-1-1, but he's 1.5 items on the Sivir.
Yeah, he needs to show us the late game, because Celebrity is a very strange player. When I started casting the VCS with you in summer 2019, remember Celebrity on Loki? He was not good in teamfights. He was inting those teamfights in the positioning, and he got much better over the years, even though he's a very veteran player, and he had very good teamfight performances. I was really pushing for Celebrity to be the best ADC in the league about the midway point of this regular season. I think he deserved that. But then he fell off a little bit again. His laning is still very solid, but his team fighting and his positioning in those team fights, especially in that GUM series, left a lot to be desired. In the first game on the Zeri, he didn't really have the tools to carry the game, you could argue, but he also overstepped a few times into the likes of all the Engage and Lockdown, the Aatrox. So he really needs to show us a good performance if you want to believe in SBTC. They're behind here. They do have some potential in the late game. We talked about their composition being mostly mid-game focused, playmaking focused, and they've kind of failed to do so. So it's really all on Celebrity to carry his team to a 1-1 score, because falling down 0-2 after that devastating loss against GUM, where you should have been up 2-1, might just be the nail in the coffin for their playoffs.
It may well be. This game still has a lot more to give, because despite all of the heroics, all of the outplays, it's only a 2,000 gold difference your way. It is still a close one. Charm not quite landing from Artifact. As I've got to give him some praise. I just want to point something out with Artifact. He has built a Leandres. He
Is that
built
a
damage.
good thing or a bad thing? I never know with Ari builds. There's so many opinions
He
out
built
there.
damage. He built damage your way.
So we do have the same build again for Hero as we're focusing on builds again, and this is interesting because I've seen so many different Aatrox builds now. This is really the first Aatrox in the VCS at least I've seen go for this very tanky, very 1v1 focused, honestly, can teamfight well as well, but very auto-attack focused at least builds in comparison to Gore Drinker.
Catch onto Artifact. Yeah, he was coming. They were coming to reinforce, and suddenly that's just a 2 for 0. As, yeah, that's an easy double kill for SE on the top side. They lose their mid tower, but the Baron has been started now.
Okay, Hero is huge. He can really turn this all around. And Per with the engage.
Penguin, very far forward, might just get burst down, taken incredibly low. The Renekton has already fallen. Penguin needs to continue staying alive, but he can't. Hero, he's huge. The wings are out. The sword is swinging. The shots from the Zeri are coming in. It's a quadra kill. And here we go. Penta kill for Eddie. Fan club vindicated. Baron secured. And Team Secret resplendent.
We finally have our first Penta of the season. It took so long. Usually we are the Pentakill League in the world with so many kills, but it took us to players round 2 to finally get our first Pentakill, and of course, it's on Zeri. What other champ could it be on? It's our first Zeri Pentakill of this summer split, and it's on Eddie. This really puts a damper on SBTC's chances. They wanted to transition this nice catch on Artifact, finally shutting him down. And getting the Yuumi on top of that into the Baron. This Aatrox just bought so much time, had so much AoE damage, and add Zeri on top of that, even though they actually dealt with the Zeri quite well. If you look at the hook from Palat, he almost killed Eddie with that hook, but look at that AoE. Such a menace from Hero, and Celebrity can't follow up on this hook on Eddie, so Eddie actually gets away with it, and then no one has any means of chasing him down. Hero is a good teammate because he gives the Penta over to Eddie, though he definitely deserves to get a few kills there.
Every day of the week, I'm stealing that Penta kill. Just to be clear.
But now, 10 to 5 in kills, 2 Dragons and the Baron, plus Zeri Yuumi on your team. And Aatrox, honestly, is quite a strong threat as well. SBTC wants another go.
Yeah, they're going to have another crack. Eddie moving in. Dia1 in a lot of trouble, and it's Hero once again being the big front line. There's so much healing coming from this Aatrox with this Divine Sunderer. They get that free kill onto Dia1, and now Team Secret are looking unstoppable.
Okay, Hero has converted me to the Church of Divine Sunderer Aatrox. This is ridiculous. What is going on in these team fights? He's just not taking any damage.
I mean, it is frankly absurd how much healing is done. And I know people are going to look at Eddie, they're going to look at Zeri, he did pick up that pentakill, but Hero has been the MVP so far, at least of this mid-game. It was Artifact in the early game, and now it's transitioned into Hero. This is a player, I mean, the start of this split, we thought nothing of him. We had incredibly low opinions of Hero. But look at him now.
And I think the biggest change for Hero, we've seen this player be a star back in QTV days. Remember that? Where he just played Vladimir every single game. His biggest problem has always been champion pool, but not this split. He has actually played so many different champions. One of the only top laners in the world to flex Wukong into the top lane to give his jungler a better matchup, for example. And now the Aatrox, in true Hasmid fashion, after getting clapped by Hasmid, now this Aatrox just looks like SGB, honestly. If you take off any of the nameplates, this could be Hasmid Aatrox or Razor Aatrox. So Hero really stepping up, and they needed another carry. Eddie has always been a really good teamfight positioning ADC with not the greatest laning phase, so you can't really rely on him to carry your game early on. You need to buy him space. Now he's 8-0, mostly due to Hero's heroics in the front line. And this is exactly how we want to fight as Team Secret. Give Eddie enough time to scale, give him a late game team fight, protect him, and then he's gonna carry you in terms of damage. But what a performance from Hero.
Absolutely living up to his name. As SE are now well and truly on the back foot. The back foot's not even fair. They've been knocked on their arse your way. As they need to find a way. I don't know if you get back into this game, but they're going to give it a crack. Everything missing. Dia1 getting charmed up. Artifact once again showing how to play the Ahri. Eddie spooled up on the side. Enpa has to dash away, but he's going to continue to get shot down. There's one for Eddie, and everyone else is corralled under the tower. They're going to turn around on to the Zeri, but there's a Mikhail's there, double kill. He's moving in. Is he gonna get another one as the triple kill? No, this one won't be it, but it will. No, not even a quadra. It will be an ace, and it will be Team Secret moving into the base. They're gonna go down to the bot lane. They're gonna do with Hero the destruction of the base. They are gonna move themselves up to 2-0 match point.
And in 27 minutes, roughly, this is just domination in team fights from Team Secret from start to finish. SBTC tried to draft a more proactive draft after so many late-game team compositions where they just tried to team fight against Gum. It worked once, almost worked another time. Today they changed after losing game